I'm Erin Zozel.
And I'm Drew Coleman.
Welcome to Zo Conversation.
Our show about being real estate partners, local business owners, and friends.
Let's get into it.
Let's do this. Morning.
Good morning.
We're here. We're on location. We're on set.
We are on set, on location for our second on location.
Yep. And we have bloodies.
And we have bloodies.
So we're off to a good start.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And there's vodka in here.
There is vodka in here, and
Yeah.
it's early.
Yeah,
And we like it.
yeah.
It's one of the reasons we
perks of
love
Serge and
Jamie
Jane.
Carl,
Exactly.
Right? One of the perks of Serge
It's
and Jane.
airport rules when you're in Serge and
It
Jane.
is
Right, it
absolutely
totally
true.
is.
It is. It
Carol
is.
and I had to stop drinking because the first 2 weeks we were like super puffy because we drank every time somebody came in, and we're like, okay, we gotta curb this.
Well,
I love that.
So now it's just occasional, special occasions.
Okay.
Just podcasts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just podcasts.
Yeah, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays.
And Thursdays we'll be drinking again.
And Sundays. You know, other than that.
It's the holidays.
It's the holidays.
It's the holidays.
But yeah, so we're on location at Serge and Jane,
Yes.
which is one of our favorite stores.
Absolutely one of my favorites.
In the hood. And
Half the
Thank
things
you.
I wear in this podcast are from here.
100%.
I do always want to comment, but I'm like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
looks a little.
No, you should.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was actually doing it for you, and then when you
Oh.
didn't comment, I was like,
Right, you're
Aw.
like,
She
trying to
doesn't
show some
notice.
Love, yeah. Oh, I always notice, but I was like, I don't want to be braggy.
Well,
we want you to be braggy.
Yeah.
Because this is worth bragging about.
Oh,
this
thank you.
is worth bragging about. Yeah.
Thanks.
We have been, we've known Jamie for years now.
Yeah.
And we lived in the same neighborhood here
Yeah.
in, Morningside. And so we're all from the same.
Yeah, I met her at
here.
Skybox.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even before Serge and
Yeah.
Jane. Yeah.
Wow.
And now I don't go as often because of Serge and Jane. So
Well,
I understand.
it's
I
a
get it.
balance.
I understand.
I get it.
Totally understand.
But today, we walked into this.
Yeah.
So you're already winning for our favorite guest ever.
yeah.
Right? I was
Sorry,
trying.
Carrie and Tommy.
I'm gonna keep
but- oh no,
drinking
they had rosé. They're winning
Oh.
too.
They did have
Those
rosé.
aren't vegetable skewers.
They didn't. They didn't do all this.
Did you craft all these? The
I
whole
did,
spread?
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
We have a full line of fermented vegetables upstairs for charcuterie boards and Bloody Marys.
Okay, wait. This is news to me that you have like delicious treats and food and stuff. So
Yeah.
what all do you have here?
Okay.
Because when I first started coming here, I feel like it's evolved over the
Yeah.
years.
So we started with men's. I know that's a surprise to most people, but our front corner up there was all men's.
Yeah.
Really?
Vinyl records and women's. That's how we started, and a little bit of lifestyle, like we had the candles, but we've evolved it into a full men's floor, a full women's floor, and a full kids and pets floor. So
Yeah.
we're 3 stories, and we take over the whole building.
Yeah.
And it's
And-
lifestyle, it's body care, it's beverages, it's kind of a one-stop shop.
It really is. I think I do think there's a lot of times, like especially when your biggest customer here is like wearing all of his.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, you wear a lot of their clothes.
I do.
And you're like, where do
Yeah.
you get that? Like, what? There's a men's floor. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful stuff up there. I buy
Yeah.
stuff for Charlie there too. But
Yeah.
yeah, and even just the kids downstairs, like there's so many cool things there.
Yeah.
And gifts and
It goes newborn to size 14. 14 gets 14 gets a little tough because they might want to start sizing up, which then we bump them up to men's or women's extra smalls and smalls. So we really do take the entire family from newborn to 3X upstairs in men's. So we try to have something for everyone, a curated, we don't want to have the entire grocery store in here. So
Yeah.
it's a really curated, hopefully cool, kind of hip collection for whatever you need to wear for your home or for your kids.
yeah,
for your
and
pets.
I feel like every time I come in here, which is often, it's like I come in for something. It's kind of feels like Target sometimes. And I come in for one thing, for a gift, and then I walk out with
Yeah.
forgot the gift, but I,
I know.
have
Yeah, we
4
don't mind
lovely
that. Yeah.
outfits for myself.
Everyone gets
Some
distracted
dog
on the
treats.
women's floor. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
around
get
here.
There's a lot
distracted for
to
their
see.
wives, like they always they can always find something to take home.
Yeah.
And then women definitely get sidetracked when they walk in the front door if they're buying for
Well,
somebody else.
I would agree with that. And I think it's also, I'm a sucker for sequins.
Yeah.
When I walk, I'll wear sequins on a Tuesday.
You
Yeah,
sure
year
will.
round.
9 a.m. I don't
Yeah, you're
care.
at the bus stop, just picking up your kids.
Yep, absolutely. A full,
Yeah.
maybe a
Just a
sequin
full
beret
sequin
sometimes.
dress.
Oh,
Full
That's
gown.
that's still my goal to get you in that dress.
well,
For the bus stop.
For the bus stop. My kids
Yeah.
are, well, no, yeah.
keep
Sloan
drinking
would
your-
love that. She would
Right.
love
Yeah.
her mom.
By the end of this podcast, we're going to have you in that.
Someone would love it if you picked her up in a full.
Yeah. she would.
award show gown.
Yeah, she's. 13-year-olds are real proud of their
Right.
moms and their
Yeah.
fashion choices. So it's great. It's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yes.
Like
Also-
my two that say they won't shop here, my 18 and 15-year-old sons, because they said it's too urban. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but they go to Nordstrom's and buy the exact same
Right.
brands that we
Right.
carry here. So
Right.
For full price.
for full price, yeah.
it's
I'm like,
great.
we actually carry that same item.
You're
Like,
right.
it's not just the brand, but the same items like that he bought
gosh.
for his senior photos.
Well, yeah. Well, you've
So that's a proud moment.
Yeah.
But
I'm
Casey,
just trying to.
Yes, my
Something.
husband is a walking billboard for Serge and Jane. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, as am I. I really quickly learned I can't wear anything that we're not carrying because people like it and then
Yeah.
ask, oh, is that in the store right now? And usually my philosophy is I don't take things until we're marking them out. So then when people compliment them, I'm like, they were on sale.
You
like
missed-
for a long
you missed
time.
it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
missed
You missed, it. By the time it's
So
on
he-
you, the ship
Yeah,
has sailed.
I'm like,
love
I
that.
still need to work
Yeah.
on this strategy a little bit, but everything I try to wear is from the store too. So that if I get compliments, then
Yeah.
people know they're from here.
I know. That's awesome. And then how long has the store been here? Like, so as far as like, tell us the story
Yeah.
behind how
Yeah,
this
what's the
evolved.
story? What
The
made
story.
you decide to want to do this? Because we all own small businesses,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and we know how hard,
The grind.
the grind. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your background, which I think is pretty awesome too, that a lot of people don't know
Thanks.
about you. So I would love to hear a little about that.
Yeah, so my husband and I started at Target. We spent our careers at Target. We both started in merchandising. That's actually where we met, was in the business analyst training program at Target. And so he was at Target for 20 some years. I was there for almost 15 years. And when I left, I knew that I wanted to open a store. My boss, who I had worked I had worked with her and then for her for almost 10 years, said, you're leaving to start a store, to open a store, aren't you? And I said, eventually. Like, I still had little
Yeah.
boys at the time. And I said, maybe not right now, because my husband's schedule and my schedule got really hard to balance. We were both traveling a lot, and me being on the events team at that point was just too much travel for work away from the boys. So it took about 5 or 6 years, and then we opened this together in 2019, at the end of November 2019. And then we were closed almost 3 months to the day for COVID. So we had 3 months that we were rocking. We thought, this is awesome. We're in our neighborhood. Like, we just live a few blocks away. And then we closed for 10 weeks for COVID. But because of our elevator bank here, we could lock that. So we still had like food donations and toilet paper donations coming in through the side door. So we showed up every day to put our product online, because we had our website up and running by the time COVID started. So we were here every day. People were knocking on the windows as they walked by with their dogs, and were pointing to things, and then they'd call the store. So we were able to fulfill orders from inside for 10 weeks, and then we officially reopened in May 2020. So we were closed for those 10 weeks, and then opened in May when they lifted the ban.
Remember.
And then so we've been open since May 2020, and it was really, I think, really good for our mental health, because when we then came up against those numbers in 2020, we didn't have anything that we compared it to.
Right.
So we were like, well, August was a win, because we weren't open the year before. And then in 21, if all we had sold was a coffee cup online, during the lockdown, then we were just trying to beat $14.95 for the day.
These year-over-year numbers are awesome.
We were like, we are killing it at this retail thing. So now we're trying to anniversary against some of the biggest sales that retailers then showed, is what we're learning, that 20 and 21 were some really big years for retailers because people couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
So they were shopping online and treating themselves. And so now I think it's even harder to be running a small business than it was actually in the midst of it.
I agree.
Because now people have a lot of ways to spend their money. They're
Yeah.
back out eating, which is awesome, but they're traveling. And so now their dollars are being split up a little bit
Spread
more.
out a little
Yeah.
more, yeah. That
Yep.
makes total sense.
Well, I have a little I remember something during COVID. I remember when I called you or I texted you, and there was that, what was the mug? It's going to
Yeah.
be fucking okay, is what
Yeah.
it said. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, something.
you can bleep that out. But I had texted you, I'm like, oh, I saw this or whatever. I'm like, I want to come in and get it. And you're like, and so I got it for me and my 3 other girlfriends.
Yep.
And she literally put it all together. I'm like, well, I'll stop. And you're like, nope, you dropped it off at my house outside for 4 coffee mugs.
We got
Well, we
service.
were doing a lot of
That's what I'm saying.
deliveries.
I mean,
but
it's just that whole thing from someone in the salons too who was doing the same thing.
yeah, I was
Same
driving
thing
by
as what
you picking
were-
up hair product.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's that part of like this community that is like
Yeah.
was so cool to see us all
Yeah.
as small business owners supporting each other.
Absolutely.
You know, and
I still have gift cards to redeem from my friends that own small businesses that I was buying
Yeah.
just when they were doing things online. So I should probably collect some of. I should probably
Yeah,
redeem some of
she
those
was cash
soon,
those
but
out.
yeah. But yes, I mean, because we were here and we were seeing people walk by. We were seeing there wasn't a lot of driving. You know, people didn't have a lot of places to go, but. We were making door deliveries and we were putting things in people's trunks. Like they would pop open their trunk, stay in the car, pop open their trunk, and we would put it in the trunk and wave with our masks on. And
Those were the days.
Yes.
I don't want that
We're
to.
not trying to go back.
we're
to
not
that.
trying to go
never
back.
go
Let's
back,
just
but it
drink
was-
bloodies and hang out and
Yeah,
have fun
exactly.
We learned a
together
lot.
and be less than 6 feet together.
Right,
Next to each
exactly. I
other.
know
Right.
we're so
We're so
close. I love that. I
But
like
it
closeness.
is, yeah, I like closeness
Same.
too.
Uh-huh.
Buddies on me.
Well, that
Don't say that. Just
it happens.
something to see here.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
Especially when I was doing this.
The
and it was like,
skewers and the
We should all take a sip break.
asparagus in the
it's
eye.
right in the eye.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's being in the eye.
Just an eye skewer.
Just like,
How did Aaron's get an eye on it?
what?
Nothing. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Like
So,
what?
no.
We do need to eat the beans first because that would make it a lot
Let's do
easier.
that.
Yeah, that was dumb.
that
Time
was
out.
dumb. I
Time
shouldn't have
out.
put the beans on here, but.
No, the beans
Oh,
are great.
Aaron.
There should have been something we
some
discussed
health.
before I
Oh yeah,
Also,
we
it's
should
a
use
good
them as
stir.
as
had
a
an
stir.
eye situation.
I love a little bloody time out.
Right?
Okay.
Okay,
So,
back to business.
how'd you come up with the name?
Oh, this is a good story.
Yeah.
So,
Knew it would be.
Right after
my
shoots a
husband,
bean.
yeah, my husband Casey is a really big music lover. He is a DJ hobbyist,
Okay.
not for hire for the most part. I mean, he might be.
Yeah,
If the
maybe.
money's
He's like,
right.
wait a minute.
He does do our events, but so he has all the equipment, but he loves music. He always has. And one day we were in California, and he was like, "I've thought of a name for the store. I think we should call it Serge and Jane, after Serge Gainsbourg and Jane Birkin." And it represents, Serge was a French musician, and Jane Birkin was the muse for the Hermes Birkin bag.
Right.
She was a model, actress, and they recorded an album together. But it was kind of his music and her fashion are the inspiration. They're
I
kind of the
see.
muses for the
Love
store.
that.
So it's not really what they would wear or their music tastes or
Right.
anything.
Right.
It's just that he kind of represented the music and she represents the fashion.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Which makes
Yeah.
sense why you started with like records
Vinyl.
and yeah.
Yep. We absolutely could not have had a store without the vinyl and the music layer. So much of what we bring in represents we spend a lot of time in Southern California, so much what we carry is brands from California, but also like the vibe, the music scene, like pop culture, movies. Like we just love a lot about trends and culture
Yeah.
and things like that. So a lot of
Yeah.
that influences the store.
And you can feel that, like, again, when you come in here, you
Yeah.
can feel, like, the energy with the music that's playing, with
Oh,
the
good.
vibes, with the, I mean, even just everything. All of your senses are kind of
Oh, thanks. We had
coming
to.
at you.
I agree.
I love
He
it.
has music playlists customized by time of day, so and by floor. So we have a kids and pets. We
bless him.
have
I love
rooftop jams.
Yeah, you do.
But we had to.
Yeah, you do.
we had to. We were at a couple stores in London over spring break, and I was like singing along, and I was like, I don't know that I recognize people singing along in my store, like, because Casey has a very deep music appreciation, and so there's a lot of Arcade Fire and a lot of stuff that you don't like.
Yeah.
You might rock out to, but you're not like bopping your head to.
Yeah.
So finally, I was like, hey, I want some of this music at Serge and Jane on the playlist, like that. So we call it the Cool Mom Mix.
Okay.
So it's 10 hours of Cool Mom Mix, and it's pretty much, I don't tell him this, but it's pretty much the only one we play anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Casey approved, but it's still
like,
like, it's a lot of 90s.
We won't tell Casey.
Yeah,
you won't
when he
watch.
comes in, I kind of put back the Arcade Fire on, but
yeah. You go
I
back
do
to
love
obscure
Arcade
mix.
Fire, though.
yeah. And like, it's funny because we had a young sales associate working from the time we opened. So she was probably 22 maybe when she started. And she's a huge Harry Styles fan, and she went to see Harry Styles in Denver, and Jenny Lewis opened for him.
Yeah, I love Jenny Lewis.
And she was like, I don't know Jenny Lewis, but I want to get there and be there early and get seats. And then she was like, I knew every Jenny Lewis song because of the Serge and Jane playlist, because Casey's a huge Jenny Lewis fan. So she was like, I knew every song.
That's awesome.
Sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Right, exactly.
Or
Like,
what you do know.
yeah, so now when Jenny Lewis comes on, we all know it's Jenny Lewis and sing along. But yeah, there's a lot of 90s hip hop, a lot of 80s like throwback jams that moms and guys will appreciate, hopefully, when they come in. And we do catch them like singing along and like dancing. But
that's smart, though, especially
Definitely.
on the men's floor too, just to kind of have a different vibe up there.
Yes.
And I didn't even realize you did that, but I do. Now that you say that, I do notice it when I'm like, when I'm in the kids area. It kind of feels
it's a little more PG down there, like because we still have some Kanye and some things that we try to keep it a little cleaner. But there's we're not using the radio versions of the songs, so
Right.
except downstairs it is.
Kids
there's
bop.
no
Kids
yep
bop.
It's
yep.
Bop. Well, this store, because there are a lot of boutiques in the area, stores that are kind of would fall under the umbrella of what this store is, but this store has the most character by far.
Thank you.
It's just, it has its own funky vibe to it.
Thanks.
I think that you see it, there are a lot of boutiques that, I don't know, it just, sometimes it seems one note.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not to take anything away from what other people are doing,
Absolutely.
but this
kind of know
just
what
has,
you get.
Yeah, exactly. You know what you get. It's
Yeah.
kind of one note. And here it's eclectic. It has a ton of character. There's funky stuff. There's cool stuff. The candle game is really strong for all the candle lovers out there.
That's-
If
Thank you.
you're a
that is
candle
true.
lover,
Yep.
look no further.
This
Thank
is
you.
it.
This is the spot to go, and I just love that there's an entire floor of men's. Like, I don't know anybody else that's doing that. I can go up there, take my time, look around, kind of.
Do you know who else loves the men's section?
Brian. Yeah,
Brian.
he sure
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Brian.
We know Brian.
Oh yeah,
Everyone does.
Everyone does.
Hopefully he's wearing all Serge and Jane, because we try to
Well,
outfit him in some good
he
gear.
wears a lot
He's
of
got
Serge and Jane.
he's got plenty
Yeah.
of it. He loves
He
cashmere.
loves cashmere.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you've got a cashmere game coming out,
Yeah.
reach out to him first.
Go to him first and
So
say,
he can
Alright.
get his size.
"We wanted you."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
because he has a common size.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is one of his
yeah.
frustrations
Yeah.
at all clothes stores.
This is what
is
we
that they
just
run out of
They
his
sell
size
out fast.
first.
You only get one size run, and we just talked about this the other day, and he's like, "This is really frustrating, you guys." I'm like, well, look, now we're talking.
true.
We're like, we'll take it to
about
Jamie. We'll take
Yeah.
it.
Well, we've gotten him in Soul Angeles.
Yeah.
And now we've gotten him in some Faraday, some good
Yep.
Faraday men's bottoms.
Yep.
So yeah, now that I know he's a cashmere lover,
Cashmere.
Yes.
I got some good things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
he's
you
a
heard
medium.
that.
He's a medium.
Medium.
I never have any problem with
Right.
double XL because it's
Oh yeah, you were just saying.
I
that
feel
the
like
other
you
day.
also get here first. I feel
Yeah.
like some of your pieces were like we had just gotten in, and like
Yeah.
we could have sold 6 times what some of
Right.
the pieces you have.
Yep.
But we
Yeah.
try to keep
it's
it. That is, thank you guys for saying that, because we do try to keep it really authentic to what Casey and I would wear.
Yeah.
Most of the brands we had already been wearing, or like the trap candles. I had been burning trap candles for ages. They just got harder and harder to get. But we try to bring in things that we either buy for our friends or buy for ourselves or had been wearing. So we stand by a lot of the brands and the designers and manufacturers that are in here, because it feels very much like our house. Like it's Nixon is one of our is our watch brand, and we've been Nixon collectors for 20 some years. We've
Yeah.
had Nixon watches. Like there was a men's store in Fred Siegel back in Santa Monica, and the store manager used to call us every time there was a new Nixon watch in that he thought we would like. So he would. We acquired a lot of Nixon watches out of that Fred
Yeah.
Siegel store, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So like even with talking with you about this, like it really is like so personal.
Yeah.
Like when you walk, so it's like you're kind of like, you want to know who Jamie and Casey are walking to their
Yeah.
store, and you're gonna.
Learn
Yeah.
too
You're
much
gonna
about
know.
us for sure, but
Yeah.
we actually had this man and woman come in. I think they're based out of Seattle. I still read their newsletter every week, but they are retail advisors. They came in right before we shut down for COVID, but we had had a Star Tribune article written about us, and they had read it. They were here visiting a client, and they had read about us that morning and decided to come in and just tour the store. They had actually written about us. They hadn't met us yet, but talking about why you should never, or I think their story was about retailers, people that had been in retail trying to open their own store, and maybe the pros and cons of that. I should go back and reread that. It's been a while, but they came in and they said, I ended up spending about an hour and a half with them. They were like, oh, this is really smart of you, because we would normally charge you for this time. But they sat on the 2 chairs right in front of the fireplace, and I just peppered them with questions. And they said, the biggest thing is not to buy things that you love, because you won't have a clear, objective head about it. And I still think about that 4 years later. I'm like, I would never not buy something I don't love. Like, they told me a story about a cowboy boot vendor in Nashville, and how they walked into the back room and it was just full of inventory because the buyers loved cowboy boots, and they overbought cowboy boots. And I was like, well, I think that I wouldn't put anything in here that I didn't love. So I was like, I don't know, this is either, that was like 2 months in, and I was like, well, this is either going to really work or really bomb. So
And do you're the buyer then? Do you do all the buying?
Casey and I do all the buying. He's down to pretty much just vinyl records.
You do all the rest of this?
Yeah.
How in the world?
Carol
do you
advises
manage
me.
this?
Sometimes she.
Oh, Carol, we love Carol.
We do love Carol.
bless her.
She sometimes enables
She's
me,
amazing.
and then sometimes she puts the guardrails on. So she's a good counterbalance to me. But yeah, I do all the.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Because there's
wow.
so much inventory. Like,
Yeah.
I owned little tip about me. I owned a little retail store
Oh my
I used to own a
gosh.
yoga studio back in the
Yeah.
day, yoga and bar studio and everything. And
Oh my
but the
gosh.
whole front of it was retail, which I was like, I love clothes. I
Yeah.
like this is going to be easy. So did the retail store, and I will tell you, it was not easy.
Yeah.
And it was,
Can't imagine.
yeah, and it was like, I actually will tell you, I didn't buy everything I loved. I bought a lot that I loved, and then I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, well, I feel like people will like this, but I don't know. And that's the stuff
yeah.
that's sat.
You second guess. Well, that's probably why I take things off of the clearance rack, because I'm like, okay, this was mine.
Yeah,
I should be
totally
willing to
hear
wear
you.
this.
Yeah.
But also, I do try to tailor it to my clients.
Sure.
So there are things that I would wear everything in here. My style goes a little further even than what we carry in here.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just buying a piece or two for myself
Sure.
because I know I can't sell it.
Right.
And then that seems to be the piece that everyone asks me about. So I'm
Right.
like, sometimes I get it right and sometimes I don't. Like, sometimes I should have bought 6 of things, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, they like it, but they would never wear it.
Yeah.
Like, because I do go a little more streetwear than what I carry in here. But I try to keep in mind what I think the Edina client and the Minneapolis client will wear, but I wouldn't buy it if I wouldn't wear it.
So what is the trend right now that you're seeing? I see a couple different things, but what is the trend right now that you are like, is there something now that you're like,
Yeah.
probably won't do it? Or is there
Yeah.
something like, I don't know.
So we've
What is
already
that?
placed all of our orders for spring and summer. We're almost looking,
Wow.
we'll start writing fall and holiday here pretty soon. But the barrel jean is, so Free People did it for spring, and it's not, the barrel jean was kind of the dipping your toe in it. It just gives you a little bit of a,
A barrel?
yeah, a barrel shape, like the thighs go out and then they taper back in, which that's not a flattering for anybody. And it's going a step further for spring, where they're doing bow-legged. So there's a bigger gap in the middle, and then it just gets wider on the edges. And I did
I'm gonna give you
buy
some of those.
I did buy one pair. They're at my house. I haven't put them on yet. We just got them in this week, so I got to try them on. I did go into the barrel jean, like I did buy that every time Free People cut it, and we sold them. We had them in cream and we had them in denim, and I have had clients come in and say, "Thank you for getting me into those jeans." Like, they're not flattering. Like, husbands and boyfriends don't love them. Like, but you feel really cool wearing them. But the bow-legged was even a step further. That I'm like, no.
We're
Okay.
not sure about that.
Not sure
Yeah,
about
so
that.
when you see it on the pages of In Style, you'll be like,
Yeah, we heard it.
we
There
heard
it
it.
is.
first.
We're not doing it, but we heard it.
And how about the underpants and
Yeah.
blazer trend? With
Well, I kind of love it. I can't pull it off, so I didn't buy a lot of that. That's the one dress that we're trying to get you into is the, but you can still wear something under that. Like you could wear tights or something and not make it so sheer. But I kind of love it with the right figure and the right.
So it really is like.
It is really like a
full
bikini
underpants.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like a blazer over top of it.
Yeah.
I know.
And so much.
Maybe we should try to pull it off.
I'll try anything.
Right? Yeah.
Think he'd look good in it? Yeah.
For sure, Drew would look good in it. Yeah.
Some fishnets.
You know what? I'm not gonna knock it till I try it.
Yeah.
I know.
We've been doing it for a while. We had a couple of tulle skirts that had nothing underneath them, but nobody wears them like that. So we always show them over tights or.
I think it gets a little tricky when you're heading to like Edina Cove.
Yeah. Yes. I was just gonna say our
hit the same.
clients around here don't want to go that far.
Right.
And especially the weather is a huge drawback to like how many layers you actually have to be wearing.
Yeah.
But I think if you're in the right climate, you for sure should try the blazer and
I'm not gonna be out here in the winter with
Okay.
no pants on.
I'm gonna
Right.
I'm gonna try this.
happen.
Just no, I'm gonna try it.
What about bigger boys like me? Like what's
What's the trend
What are
for
we
big
seeing?
boys?
You know, men's has been really tricky since we opened because we were first trying to get everyone into joggers because men just didn't have the right loungewear.
Yeah.
Now I feel like everyone is really kind of up their loungewear game.
Yeah.
And now it's like, now we want to get them back into like real clothes.
Yeah, totally.
But
Yes.
they don't really want to go to real clothes. Like, so it's still
I get
really
that.
casual.
I feel like that's everywhere though. Even like my teenager and my son
Yeah,
who's 13 and 16.
totally.
Like all they wear, all my daughter wears is just oversized joggers and
Yep.
oversized hoodies
Yeah.
Yep.
every single day.
Totally.
Yeah.
So now we're doing like, we've got some Faraday and some Rails bottoms that are drawstring.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we're
That's
leaning
what these are.
hard into the
Really?
drawstring.
Yeah. Wait, did I get
That's
these too?
very trend forward because we can't get most men to do the drawstring
Yep.
for some reason. Like
Yeah.
it's like they'll do the joggers and they'll do the button ups, but they won't do the
What do you mean?
drawstring.
They just don't like to.
I don't know.
I love the drawstring.
Yeah.
Because I have like big like
Muscular thighs.
thighs and butt, and so sometimes then the waist is like too big,
big.
and I
Yep.
have to cinch the belt so tight, and it just
Yep.
and then like the belt is tight, but the pants are like sliding under the belt. It's not
Yep.
cute. So the drawstring is great. I just
Yeah.
as tight as I need to,
Yeah.
and and you would never know that these are drawstring pants. I mean, they look like dress pants.
Right.
So
You can dress them up, dress them down, like
Yeah.
wear them with tennis shoes.
I will be
The more you know.
the more you
Yeah.
know, and if you start selling drawstring stuff, give me a call.
Yeah.
I'll be up there to buy it.
All right. Well, yeah, you should look because we've
it's-
probably gotten some new things since
Oh,
you've been
really?
here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll head up there right after this.
Yeah, and if you get some black underpants
Yeah.
Where's this going? You love a curveball.
for the blazer look that
I
we were
tell you
just
what.
talking about, the
Yeah.
bikini bottom.
Okay.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't just saying underpants because you don't.
We do
sell-
carry a few undergarment pieces, but
Okay.
a couple thongs and a couple bandeau tops, but just more to complement the outfits than.
Okay. So as far as your store and with everything, like, I mean, being in the neighborhood, just again,
Yeah.
because like we're kind of, this is why we wanted to talk to you, just because you have been such a huge part of this neighborhood and making this
Yeah.
really cool. I mean, it's
I know. We
It
could
is.
say we have a cool store in our neighborhood.
I know. We have quite a few, but this one, I mean, we also love that it's like off the beaten path a
Yeah.
little bit. So it's not just like 50th in France.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
somewhere it's like, it's a destination, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Which I think is really smart.
It's on my way home from the gym,
Right.
which is
and I live right
convenient.
behind here.
very convenient.
Right. We wanted to be convenient for us as well. You know, we still had kids in school when we started building the building. So we wanted to be able to get to school and get to
Yeah.
practice and get home
Right.
if we needed to. And this is a really dumb thing to admit on a podcast, but sometimes when I picture Serge and Jane, I think of like an old timey like general store.
Cute.
I love that.
Aw.
Mostly when I want to decorate the front and how
Yeah.
I want the front to feel. Like I want
Yeah.
it to feel like, but kind of back to the one-stop shop. Like that's not what I'm channeling. I'm not channeling like bins of,
Right.
dried goods and stuff. But like the
Right.
front of it, for some reason, that's kind of what I picture as being like in the heart of the neighborhood and being kind of your go-to. Luckily, we have the Whole Foods and everything else around us, that do offer the things that I can't. And the gourmet wine and cheese store across the street.
Mhm.
So
Salons
because I don't have a
around the
liquor
area.
license, but in the salons, like we right here at 45th and
It's
France,
so
we are.
cool.
I know
Right.
44th in France has
You
its
don't
own
have to
little
go very
neighborhood.
far.
Yeah.
It's its own
Yeah.
budding thing.
But you're one of the first people, to really
Yeah, you started a
to
trend
really
kinda.
dive in and do this in the neighborhood. So a big thank you from all these neighborhoods for you guys
Yeah.
taking the plunge and doing something that, first of all, it takes a lot of balls really to be able, or whatever. I mean, guts,
Sure.
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too
Chutzpah.
much. Chutzpah? Let's go back to chutzpah.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of chutzpah to be able to really put everything into this and
Yeah.
everything you have and both of you,
Oh,
and it's
thanks.
and it's just, and I love hearing the story, and I think it's gonna be so fun for all of our 4 listeners to hear this story as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
To
My youngest son did say this morning, I said, hey, I'm going to be on a podcast this morning. And he said, are you going to mention me? I said, only if you'll listen. So,
okay, so here we
Oh,
go.
we
yeah,
might
we
have
got one extra.
Ooh,
'cause I
5
have
followers now.
Yes.
We're up to 5 followers.
I'm going to make them both listen today. But
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
They were mentioned twice,
Twice.
maybe 3 times.
Right. Right.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Jamie, for
Thank
being
you
here.
Yeah, thanks,
Oh my
Jamie.
God,
Thank you,
just
guys.
An amazing person, but you're just
Well, thanks. I feel the
you're
same
just
about you
a
guys.
great friend.
This
and
is a
we
huge
love you,
honor.
and this is
Yeah, we love you and your
thanks.
people and Carol.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole team.
Carol's
you have.
parents
Thank
and
you.
my parents are like best friends. Do you know that?
Yes.
You told me this.
Randomly. Like, not randomly, but just small world.
I know. He was
Yeah.
like, I'm up at the lake with Carol. I'm like,
Yeah.
our Carol?
Yeah.
The Carol? And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, just hanging
Yeah.
out with Carol, having
Yep, and her
cocktails.
She
whole
talks
family.
about you and your parents all the time.
Yeah, they have
Aw.
fun. I'm so glad that our parents have each other because, they're getting older and
Right.
to have like a social outlet. And
Right.
Yeah, they're
They-
You need
social.
your people.
They're very social.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's
Joan
again
likes
why
the
we
Chardonnay.
wanted to be here because
Yeah.
our people are right here.
It's a neighborhood jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you think? Oh, actually, I want to ask. Do you think you'll
Yeah.
open up any other stores?
No.
No. Okay. Fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
quick answer.
That
That's
was-
really the only way to
she's
make
thought
money
about that
at
before.
retail.
Yeah.
Yes, of
To put
course,
it
is
all
to because you're doing it for one store. It's much easier if you keep going.
Yeah.
But no, I say to Casey all the time, I can't even manage the one I've got. Let
I
alone.
feel the same
Yeah.
about the gyms. Like we tried it wasn't the gym, and I love the one gym that we have, and that's our little
Yeah.
home, and
Your
that's,
baby.
That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I love it.
I kind of feel like if it gets me a retirement place out in California, I might consider it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I think this would do well in the
Yeah.
But yeah.
where you want to retire.
So anytime we're out there, I do look for buildings
That's the
and I look for
move.
storefronts that I could live above.
Yeah.
So I do keep that in the hopper just so that he'll maybe
Yeah.
be open to getting a place out there, but I don't really want to do it.
I did have a friend who, a couple of friends that live in Wayzata that were like,
Oh.
that were asking if you
Oh.
like, do you think they'll put one there? I'm like, well, there's our
No,
answer.
they
No.
need, they need
Come
to come
here.
here.
Come here.
Yeah.
Here,
Come to our neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Get
go to
over
Wayzata
here.
all the
Right,
time.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Come
It
over
is
here,
funny.
you
We
guys.
just did an event at the Lafayette Club, and so many of their members were like, "Oh, we never get out that way," and
Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
"Well,
come
that's
on.
funny because
No,
I don't
saw you
never."
there. It was so fun.
Yeah, that was. I was like, I never get out this way, so I
Yeah.
totally get that. Like,
Yeah.
but I think that's a whole tribute to the small businesses. When you've got small businesses
Yeah.
that are walkable and in your neighborhood,
When you have a lot of cool stuff in your neighborhood, it's
you don't
hard
have to
to
go
leave.
far.
Yeah.
I know we have a hard time even going to lunch outside of
Yeah.
the bubble.
We do.
We've got
we do
great
it.
restaurants.
We do it.
We've
We
got
do
great
do it.
salons.
There's lots of great stuff in the
Yeah.
city, so yeah.
Yeah.
In the area.
Yeah, that's the only thing we do drive around for is food.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get
know.
it.
We
Trust. We get it.
we get
Yep.
it. I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna eat my
Right?
skewer
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Me too.
Anyway, thank
awesome.
you for being
Thanks,
on,
Jamie.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys.
Happy holidays.
You're the
Such
best.
an honor. Thank you.